Okay, I'll start with Bronny. Bronny James clearly is not an NBA, not right now, but his dad orchestrated that moment where they were both on the court together.
All LeBron did to me was ruin his son's career potential to get into the NBA, and trying to fit his own needs was, I want to play with my son. Maybe his son's like, yeah, I want to play with my dad, but you're not really playing with your dad. Now, I'm sure his son knows that he got taken by the Lakers because of his dad. Now your career's over.
The insiders were saying Braun called all the teams and said, better not draft him. It's love, right? I'm giving my son something. We're going to experience something that he probably...
Is it love or is it selfishness?
Well, love can be selfish.
You need to give your kid the option to understand, to be his own self.
My opinion is, of course, different.
Jeez, Bob.
Okay.
Have you not learned anything from the last two shows?
Here's the reason why.
Well, explain.
We're here not to have our kids have to start over. Now, we're talking about LeBron James, but let's talk about Dominic Mysterio, Rey Mysterio's son. You know his first match was against? Seth Rollins at SummerSlam.
Dominic Mysterio will have his first ever match in WWE, taking on the Monday Night Messiah, Seth Rollins.
How big is that?
Yeah.
If he was not Rey Mysterio's son, he would not have this opportunity at all whatsoever. So what all I'm saying is, like, I agree with you.
He's good,
in the fact of, like,
he's holding his own
because he got his hand held at the beginning. He is fantastic right now.
Yeah.
But we all know if you can't play at a certain level until you're at that level. I don't think LeBron's going to play next year. He might be gone. We don't know. But he was like, before I leave, I would like to have this moment. Not everybody can do it, but he built up enough power to do it. So I say,
so you're saying that it's okay what Joe Biden did then for his son?
100%.
I guess my question to you guys is, would you do the same?
No,
I would.
No, of course you would.
Well,
For me, I'm not doing that for my kid.
oh, whoa.
I've been spending time in the dojo, doing all the things that they won't show. No spotlights on me, no photos, becoming the king on the low level.
We were just warming up, and I was just telling Bobby, I got something fun for us today, and he's like, uh-oh, and then I said, no, it ain't me, it's Josh, and he just acknowledged this has been going on.
The 2-on-1
for...
Oh, the two on one.
We're gonna get Peter a camera,
bro. You make this easy. There's a
get
camera right there. It's attached already. All he's got to do is use it. It's right there.
Okay.
The
Peter, you jump in. I give you the fist bump. That's when you come in.
Tag team, right? It's the tag team.
Peter,
you guys are. I thought we were the black and yellow tag team, Bobby, but
Black and yellow.
Peter can't save you, man. Sometimes you dig yourself too deep of a hole.
I know. But then when I get there, I'm like, okay. And then I go back and talk to my kids to be on my side. Sometimes they're like, no, Dad, I think we should do this. I'm like, I
no one agrees with me. Why won't anyone just agree with me?
I'll actually admit, the last one I went home and I was like, I tried to.
Wait,
Dad,
say
what you guys talk to? I'm saying
just
what
say
happened.
that I was right.
No, you weren't right.
I was so
you weren't
right.
right because we won't know who's right until the end
Sure.
of it. But what I'm saying is, I came home and I was like, hey, Miles, because they always ask what we talked about in the podcast, and I'm like, well, we talked about this, Miles. I got to talk to you about this. He's like, wrestling or football season's coming up. Well, it actually is coming up because football season's all the time. I said, but wrestling season coming up. I said, we talked about this deal, and I said, did Josh, because this is what Josh said, is for you to keep wrestling, just have fun with it, and keep wrestling, put on weight, because I understand, and we've already talked about he has to put on a little bit of weight for football season next year. And I was like, so what do you want to do? I said, I said, everything's on the table. Do you want to just take this time and focus on football, or do you want to wrestle and then go into track and everything like that? And he was like, I'll talk to you later about what his answer was. But his answer was
his answer was right. Go ahead, tell me. Just say it, Bobby. It'll make the show a lot easier if you just get it off your chest now. Okay, just get it off your chest.
Look, so what he did say, he said,
don't paraphrase it. Just say the truth. He said I was right.
He didn't say you're right. He just, because we didn't put you into the equation. I said, what would you like to do?
Forget Josh.
What did he say? He said, I want to wrestle.
Yeah, I want to have fun.
Well, he didn't say fun. He just said, I want to wrestle. And he said, I will put on weight during wrestling season.
There you go.
All right. Hey, it's all good. It's a win, man.
You're going to find out.
I talked to different people about it because I talked to Sheldon Benjamin, okay, because he played both. But then again, Sheldon was a heavyweight that did not cut weight.
That doesn't work.
Whatsoever. So that's completely off. So And then we went to the game last week because football's crazy down here. So we went to DeSoto and I think it was Willis. They played, and that's when Miles sat down, and because we didn't really talk about weight so much when I asked him what he wanted to do, but he was showing me different guys on their team, and he was like, "Yeah, I think I need to be around 175, 180 coming into his junior year." So he has some weight to put on. I mean.
But my point is though, is that he's got the whole summer starting from right now, and don't stop the growth during wrestling season. Just lift, and whatever weight class he ends up being in, he wrestles in that weight class. Then it's going to come down to technique. And look, Bobby, you should know the heavier guys, they suck at technique.
Not necessarily.
They're not necessarily
at the lowest levels.
Okay,
but once you start
look,
getting up at the higher levels, it's a different kind.
You're
of
right.
technique.
At the higher level, you're right. When we're talking at state, we're talking at regionals, whatever it is, however the state does their regionals and sectionals or whatever you want to call it. Like, yeah, sure, at a higher level, those wrestlers are good. But right now, in just local duels, I don't think he's going to have a lot of competition. No one comes to Texas and goes, yeah, man, these guys are the best wrestlers in the country. Sorry, there's only a handful, maybe like 2 or 3 in the whole country that ever came out of Texas. It's Pennsylvania, it's Ohio, it's Iowa, it's California. It's like, we know where they're at. They're not here in Texas, can tell you that. There's been a handful. And most of them only because they're popular right now. We talk about.
Yeah. I think for me, I never see the smaller picture. I'm looking at the bigger picture. I don't care if Texas is easy. If you're going to wrestle, let's try to be the best in the country.
You've got to crawl before you can walk, my man. He's got to put the weight on, and he's got to be able to wrestle. And like I said, I think as he goes up, the wrestling will get a little easier for him. I mean, once he starts putting his weight on, it's going to take him a second to understand the cardio that comes along with putting that muscle on. To be able to wrestle, to adding the muscle, it's a different type of weight you're pushing around. Not just your own body weight, but now someone else that weighs the same. That's going to take him a little bit. This may be a trial and error season for him in wrestling, but I'm telling you, later on in his football and wrestling career, he'll be thankful he did it because he's a big-bodied boy. You know, he's got broad shoulders. Yeah. He's tall. You know, he's not short.
He's got a body like I had when I wrestled, so he has ability to stay small and be very effective because he's just going to be bigger than all the kids, even though he weighs the same, because that's how I was. I just felt like I was physically more dominant than a lot of the kids because I was really lean, really hard. Like even now, people think that I'm weighing 300 pounds, and I don't tell them how much I weigh because I weigh a lot lighter than that.
Well, one of the first conversations you and I ever had, we were talking with a couple guys, and one of the guys was a bodybuilder. He's like, "Hey, how much you weigh?" And he was thinking you were going to say 240. I remember him saying, "There's no way that guy weighs fucking 215 pounds, 216." Yeah. Like, I wrestled 211s. Mm-hmm. So if I wrestle 211s, I'm cutting from 220 at the max, 216, 218, 220.
Yeah.
He's like, "No way, man." He thought for sure you were 240. He's like, "Oh no, there's no way. Look at his shoulders, look at his back, look at his chest." Miles, though, can put the weight on, still look lean as hell, and still wrestle at 175, 185.
Right.
So, and that's that he can develop that explosive movements and still carry that weight, still be a great DB at that weight class. I mean, and wrestle his ass off. Those kids at all the way up to 160, 168, somewhere in there, those wrestlers are still good. You get beyond that, 75, 74, 80, 85, somewhere in there, the technique starts, except at the highest level, the technique starts to kind of take a back seat. Well, they start trying to muscle guys around.
I'm gonna agree to disagree, but there's part of that because I remember when I wrestled, because I started out at the lightweight and then I went to the heavyweight. And lightweights are always like, "Oh, we're so more technical and all this." They say it in fighting, they say it in wrestling. But I say it's just a different style. It's something else. It's a different element that you have to go after. So it is a lot of technique. It's just completely different is where you focus your attention on.
I'm just glad that this isn't about you or me,
Peter,
or even you. No. Hear me out here. I'm just glad Miles is getting to do what he wants to do. It's about him. It's not about us. Mm-hmm. Right? So if Miles made his decision and it just so happened coincidentally to line up with what other people in this room thought, but again, it's not about us. It's about Miles.
I will say this. There is that element of you can let your kid do whatever they want to, or you can guide your kid in a different direction. And I know that it's 50-50. So we're right. Both of us are right, because there are some people that are like, my son is only going to do this.
Yeah.
And they super exceed and excel because of that.
Right. So there's no wrong answer.
There's no wrong answer.
The two choices that he had they were both great.
To wrestle or not wrestle.
Right.
No,
because you're still focusing on something positive and towards his goal. So that's why I say in this case, there's no wrong answer. And he made the choice and he gets to do what he wants to do out of those two great options. So it's not about Josh. It's about Miles. Right? Does that make you feel better?
All right. All right, but hey, let's you know what?
It makes me angry because Rich is so calm. Which is very condescending.
Okay. Let's switch gears. I got something for you guys. Now, I've been following these two father-son interactions that have been very mainstream, right? The whole world has been, watching these things play out, and one's pretty fresh and one's happened for a while. I'll start with the one that happened sooner, and that's LeBron and Bronny.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And what just happened very recently, Hunter and Joe.
Okay.
Both have a very similar, right? When you get down to it, it boils down to the same thing, in my opinion. It's giving your kids what they don't deserve.
Oh, whoa.
Bronny James. Okay, I'll start with Bronny.
Okay.
Bronny James clearly is not an NBA, not right now, but his dad orchestrated everything for him to get drafted.
Yep.
They orchestrated, and I watched. I was into it. I thought it was a really special moment, right? They orchestrated that moment where they were both on the court together. He got off the court and got off the team, and he's now in the G League, where he probably should have been in the beginning.
He made history.
They made history. Really good moment, manufactured by LeBron.
Yes.
And we can get into what happened yesterday. Same thing, but
My take on the Bronny thing is, was he a senior?
no.
He should have stayed and collected his NIL money as long as he possibly could have and continued to try to get better in there.
Yeah, but when you don't need money, then you can do these kind of things.
That's not the point. All LeBron did to me was ruin his son's career potential to get into the NBA. And trying to fit his own needs was, I want to play with my son. And maybe his son's like, I want to play with my dad. But you're not really playing with your dad. Like, you're sure you guys made one pass to each other, I think, in one game or something along these lines. But all you did was shorten your son's career. Maybe your son, in reality, maybe it was behind the scenes. They said, we know that you're probably not going to play long. We already have money. Like, you don't need to play long. We're just going to enjoy the rest of our lives. But let's go ahead and do this right now. Maybe I can see that. Let's get him to the NBA. We can play together, live our dream together. We're both on the same NBA court, sharing the ball as a Laker. That's amazing, by the way. Probably the number one team in the NBA to ever in the Knicks. Sure. To share that moment, I think it's fantastic. But if he really planned on being in the NBA for long term, all LeBron did was ruin that chance. He should have stayed in and create his own life. That's the problem. Bobby, we just got off the wrestling thing, and I'm not going to go back to that because we've already beaten that with a stick, that dead horse with a stick. I really feel like that he should have allowed his son to live his own life, not just surrounded by his life. Like, I want to play with my son. Yeah, maybe you want to play with your son.
What if he wanted that? What if Bronny wanted it?
Maybe
he was like, Dad, let's do it. This is going to be awesome. But
don't you think it's the dad's responsibility to explain to his son, look, I'm going to retire in a year or two, and you may not have got the development you needed in college to continue to play in the NBA. And because I'm there, and I'm sure his son knows that he got taken by the Lakers because of his dad. Now your career's over.
The insiders were saying Bron called all the teams and said, you better not draft him. We're drafting him. It was all orchestrated, is my point. He set the whole thing up. Because I'm sure other teams would have wanted him, thinking, we have LeBron James' son on our team now. We're going to have all this hype, and Bron will have to support us. So the word is, he was out there. The word was, don't draft him because it's not going to work out for you, Bron. They'll work against that. So the whole thing was set up. The whole thing was orchestrated, and whether long-term, short-term, to me, I see you're putting your son in it's love, right? I'm giving my son something. We're going to experience something that he probably...
Is it love or is it selfishness?
Well, love can be selfish.
But I guess it would only be selfish to me if the two of them had talked about it and said, yeah, this is what we want to do. Because then, but did you explain to your son? That's a job as a parent, to explain to your children the benefit, or not the benefits, the benefits and the downfalls of what could possibly happen.
Sure.
And I don't know if that was really ever explained to him, because why would it be when they already have tons of money? You need to give your kid the option to understand, to be his own self.
Bobby's been thinking. Here we go.
I'm just listening, and my opinion is, of course, different.
Jeez, Bob.
Okay, and
Have you not learned anything from the last two shows?
Here's the reason why.
Explain it.
We're here not to have our kids have to start over. Now we're talking about LeBron James, but let's talk about Paris Hilton. So her parents say, "Hey, listen, we want you to start out buying a $50,000 house and working your way up here." Are we talking about all these other people that have made it to a certain level, not giving their kids that same opportunity, that same boost all the way up to a very high level? Now, when we look at so Bronny comes up to the NBA, and he's now in the NBA.
Let me stop you right here. These are completely different scenarios. Paris Hilton didn't work hard her whole life to become a really good basketball player and then try to make it the NBA. Paris Hilton didn't work hard. She was born into a family. Bronny was born into a family too, but he worked his ass off to get to USC.
Realistically, if he wasn't LeBron James' son, would he make it to the NBA?
No.
Okay,
but he could have made it to a good college.
He was out of college.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like, that's why the point is that he should have stayed in college and created his own path to the NBA.
Well, he had no path. He wasn't going to make it.
Oh, I disagree.
No, he wasn't going to make it.
I disagree.
What do
Probably
you think?
not.
He
Probably
wasn't.
not.
He wasn't even one of he got it strictly because of his dad.
Okay, I honestly, no, he would have got in strictly because of his dad regardless. Even if his dad wasn't in the league anymore, he would have still got in.
Sure. So he doesn't need a college degree.
No, my whole argument was for him to collect the NIL money as long as he possibly could.
Why?
Between
NBA
3
money
to 6.
instead.
No, it's less money.
It's bigger. It's bigger money.
It's less money.
No. It's bigger money.
Just like the football NIL money is less money. All that money is less money.
NIL money stops. NBA money doesn't, and that's where it is. It's like, okay, and let's use a whole different example. I'll use a different example. Dominic Mysterio, Rey Mysterio's son. You know who his first match was against? Seth Rollins at SummerSlam. How big is that?
Yeah.
If he was not Rey Mysterio's son, he would not have this opportunity at all whatsoever. So what all I'm saying is, like, I agree with you.
He's good,
in the fact of, like,
he's holding his own
because he got his hand held at the beginning. He is fantastic right now.
Yeah.
But we all know if you can't play at a certain level until you're at that level. So maybe this is another way of thinking. I'm not saying this is right or wrong, but if you're in college, you're not ready for the NBA. You're not. When you get to the NBA and start playing there, that's what gets you ready. It's a whole different level. The guys are bigger. The guys move different. The guys know more. So maybe he was looking at it in a sense of, if you're ever going to be an NBA player, we got to get you up here so you can see how the game is played. It goes in every level. Every level, it's like a whole different ball game. From high school to college is a big different ball game. You see some high school players, you're like, man, he's great in high school. But when he gets to college, he has to put on weight. He has to learn this. He has to learn that. So in a sense, if he gets pushed up to the NBA, it's like what they wanted to do. They just wanted to, like, make history for them to be together, because I don't think LeBron's going to play next year. He might be gone. We don't know. But he was like, before I leave, I would like to have this moment.
Yes.
So if he built up that enough power to be able to do that, not everybody can do it, but he built up enough power to do it. So I say,
so you're saying that it's okay what Joe Biden did then for his son?
100%.
Okay,
because there's two. Look, I see it two ways, right? Number one, we're talking about looking at this as a parent versus, like, LeBron was looking at the situation as a parent, not as a professional basketball player, saying, if you're not good enough, you don't belong in the league. That's him as an athlete, but him as a father said,
I don't care. Let me script the system. Let me script the system. I'm going to slide in through the back door. Let my son come in.
I want to have this moment with my son. And I guess my question to you guys is, would you do the same?
No,
I would.
No, of course you would.
Well, I mean, there's
I wouldn't.
There's a lot of wrestlers. There's a lot of wrestlers right now in our business, and they're second generation. Their sons went on to a different path, and then what happened? They were like, well, maybe this is a good path for me that my dad's already opened up a door for. The Rock. We can go all the way through the level of people. Roman. We can keep going all the way through it. They've all had it because, so like for me, Miles can take his path. If he wants to go to NFL, say he doesn't make it to NFL, say he wants to take a regular job, he can have all those other options. But if he wanted to go professional wrestling, because of the name that I built in that business, I could potentially open up doors for him, and I will 100%. I don't want to look at it as like something to fall back on. Maybe he gets to the point where he's like, no, Dad, I want to be a pro wrestler. Boom, doors are open, but I'll help you go through it. And if he does that, I'm not going to have him run around doing indie promotions, learning the game. I'm going to open up the door all the way up, and I'm going to say, here, you can learn from the best, and you can be here.
You learn from the best in their training camps, in their WWE wrestling camps, all that. You learn from the best doing it with them there, not on the main stage in front of everybody. And everyone's just like, all of a sudden, now you're getting criticized, which is fine. They don't care because they got all the money. You're not doing your kid any favors. Mm-hmm. You're not doing them any. Now you can bring him up into the lower level wrestling, not in the indie stuff or whatever, but you can bring him into the WWE wrestling camps or AEW wrestling camps, and they can work with the best guys so they understand. And they can pick their brains. That's how you get better. I understand that. But Bronny doesn't need to leave USC to go. He can walk right into the Lakers practice and be like, hey, can I get some shoot around with one of you guys? And I bet you they'd all say, absolutely. They'd all do it for Braun. My point is this. I just had this conversation with Big John McCarthy on our Weighing In podcast. And he said, there was a kid that died in Canada who fought. It was his first fight. He died in Canada. Okay, after his first fight. You want to know why? There's no stepping stool. I could go to a commission and say, hey, I'm ready to fight. I'm pro. There's no one can deny the fact that you're not ready to fight. Commissions will license you. You pay your $75 or whatever it is. I don't know what it is now. You pay that fee and you go out there and you get a pro fight. That's the good thing about NBA. That's a good thing about basketball, football. You see them progress in high school. You see them progress in college. You see them progress to the NBA. If you're in the NBA, you deserve to be there. If you're a pro fighter, we don't have that checklist to get there. I can just walk to any commission and be like, yeah, I'm ready to fight. If a promoter will put you on the card and pay you $200, $1,000, $500,000, whatever it is, that just verifies that you're a pro. That's it. There's no checklist to get there. All he did was take away his son's potential later on in his career. Now, maybe it was a money thing. Maybe he's simply saying, we have enough money. Doesn't matter. We can play together for 2 years or 3 years, whatever it is I'm going to play. Okay, and then we can worry about, hopefully you get better in that process. You can stay on a team. Maybe that's what they thought. But the bottom line to me is I would not have done that to my son. Because later on in his life, people are still like, you only made it to the NBA because your dad.
Okay. Do you agree with Brock going to UFC right away?
Do I agree with situation. Brock? I wouldn't say I would agree with it because I didn't know. He could wrestle. He had more wrestling credentials than
long time before that.
Oh, I get what you're saying. I understand what you're saying.
He went to the UFC right away.
Yes, he did.
So what you're saying is that he should have took the time to fight in smaller promotions to build himself up before getting there. Because the only reason that he got there was because of I'm gonna use Dad because of WWE. Because he didn't get there on his own merit. He got there because
that's a bunch of crap. Else. No, he got there because he wrestled. He wrestled in college. Okay, and what's that? Oh, I didn't agree with that. I didn't agree with that at all.
Well, we have to.
One was a college standout wrestler, and then became a star. Tried to play in the NFL, like that kind of stuff. Like he was a full blown athlete, and the heavyweight division at the time sucked. The best fighter there was Cain Velasquez. Everyone knows it. There was no other good fighters in the heavyweight division. They all sucked. There was a couple ones that were good, but they were not great. And so Brock having the wrestling, and I've said this forever, in the heavyweight division, if you have any wrestling, you can dominate. It's changing a little bit right now that Jones is there, Tom Aspinall is there. But all the other guys, if you've got a decent amount of wrestling, you can dominate the heavyweight division. It's always been that way. They're turtles on their back. They can't get up. So when we're having this discussion, Bronny should have taken the NIL money, the easy money, played in college, lived his college career, whatever it was. And if he wanted to do it, cool, I get it. I understand. But later on, you're affecting whether that kid's going to stay in the NBA or not. I would have rather have seen him earn his way to the NBA. I'd have been more proud of that as a father than I would be saying, hey, come on up. Now, a team would have given him a shot. It's LeBron's.
He was. See, but you're doing.
No,
you're saying the
you're
same
saying
thing.
LeBron's son. No,
you're saying LeBron. You're saying he's only getting there because of his dad.
Correct.
There's
Whether
one.
it's now or later.
There's a difference. No, there's a difference. There's a difference between it being orchestrated to get him there than to the team saying, you know what, I know the dad's work ethic and I saw it and I can see it probably in his son. It may be a work in progress in say a year or two or 3 years.
You're still using his dad as his means of getting in.
But I can't change who his dad is.
Right.
I'm
So
simply
why
saying
not use
I'm
it?
not orchestrating it, calling all the teams.
They're saying
who's orchestrating it?
If somebody picks him up after he graduates, they're saying, let's bring LeBron James' son on because we can get the rub from LeBron James.
I didn't say the rub. I didn't say the rub.
Okay, if he was not LeBron James' son at all, he would not make it to the NBA.
I don't live in what ifs, dude.
No. It ain't what ifs. It's knowledge. He would not, Rich, would he have made it? No. Everybody knows that he would not have.
No, but here's the thing: how many years did he have left at USC?
He's not even one of the best people on his team.
I think he had 2 years. He had 2 years. You don't know what could have happened in 2 years. In that amount of age, he could have became a look.
So when he was playing in the summer league, that's when guys were like, "Oh man, he's really not good."
Yes,
man,
he's not at
really
the level.
Not good.
He's not. He's just not.
He just is not that level. And so it just boils down to, I think, when you strip all of this away, it's us as dads. Are you putting, because it's love, it's selfish. Love is selfish a lot of times, right? Are you putting your kid into situations and in positions that they don't deserve, that they don't earn, but because you want them to be there because it makes you happy and you proud? And this could be your business, right? How many times have we seen, oh, he's just putting his kid in there to run the business, and then the business starts failing.
But we do the same. We do the same
time.
thing with kids when we give them private lessons.
Yeah,
the kids don't really care if they have a private lesson. Maybe when they get older, but at this age, like at Kellen's age and Ollie's age, they don't care. It's cool. Yeah, sure, I did a private lesson. They don't like. My son doesn't even think about it. He didn't even ask. I'm like, hey, I'm going to sign you up for a face-off clinic for lacrosse. It's like basically one-on-one.
But that's
he's like, oh, okay,
maybe
cool.
he doesn't deserve or doesn't understand. But this is different. Like, he took someone's spot.
No, I get that.
Deserves it. Like,
and I wouldn't have done that.
You're putting your kid in, for example, to run a company that you know he can't do it. Like, someone else should do it better. To me, that's what I see through all these. Pardoning your son, putting your son on the team when he shouldn't be there. I'm putting my kid in a position. I'm giving him something he doesn't deserve because I love him.
Those two things are separate. I'm going to be honest. I'm going to be honest.
When you strip it all away, it's love, right? I'm not going to let my son go to jail because I love him.
So I think it's selfish love.
I'm going to bring
selfish love.
Love is what?
It can be selfish. Yes, it can be very selfish. But look, for me, I'm not doing that for my kid. I'm not. I'm letting him work his way up. And look, it's not as if LeBron's not collecting a fat NIL check. And you saw what Shedeur Sanders and Shiloh Sanders, they were able to do. They bought their dad a house or whatever it was. They bought him all this stuff. Like, they're doing things to show their dad they appreciate him and all the work he's put in with them. I like that more.
Those boys are good though.
I understand, but they're all. How old are they? They played 3 years now in college. Let him play his years. And who knows? Maybe he takes the Kobe Bryant path and goes, hey, I do a 4 a.m. workout. I do a 9 a.m. workout. I do a 2 p.m. workout. I do a 7 p.m. workout. And now I'm 2 times better than everyone else because I put in 2 extra workouts a day in a year period. In 2 years, if he's a sophomore, I believe he's a sophomore, he'll be a junior and senior. He can get that work in and play summer league. If he dedicated his life, it can be done.
Look, the Sanders boys are good.
The Sanders boys are good.
The NFL is not going to waste draft picks to do. We took Deion's son. It's way too serious for that. So they're going to draft them because they're good. Yep. Brock ended up being a champion. Like, these things, these are the ones that worked out, right? Like, you gave them a shot. But I understand what you're saying, Bobby. Well, I think I understand it when you're saying, look, you already have it. You might as well utilize it, right?
I'm saying that we're here to give our kids that like.
No, I'm not here to give my kid anything.
I talked to my son. I talked to my son about this because he started a TikTok channel, and then his mom was like, "Hey, you should put your dad on your channel," and he was like, and then after a while, he was like, "Well, I kind of want him to come to my channel because of me and not because of my dad." So what do we think on that?
I think it's great.
Yeah.
I don't.
I
And
like
this
the
is,
thought.
and this is
The fact that he knows
Yeah.
is, to me, is huge.
That's huge, man.
The fact that he knows.
you don't want a
that-
son running on your coattails. I didn't show my son, dude. I didn't.
Like
You're driving me
way
crazy
too
right now.
hard
Bro.
to make a name for myself to have my kids
Selfish.
start back over.
You work
No,
too
I'm-
hard.
No,
I worked too hard. You hear that? All I heard was I didn't hear
Yes,
Miles.
yes,
I didn't hear any
yes,
of that
and
stuff.
I-
It was
and-
I.
But he
Because
knows,
I
though.
did it. I did it for my
I.
kids.
You see,
I don't want.
I.
But it's not. I did it for myself. I'm doing it for my kids. I tell my kids that I work my ass off so that you guys don't have to go through the same shit that I had to go through. The stuff that I had to go through growing up sucked. It was terrible. My parents never came to watch me wrestle. They couldn't afford it. I had to battle through the stuff on my own. I had to wear the same wrestling shoes all the way through high school. I had no money going. Like, it sucked all the way through my wrestling career. It sucked. I don't want my kids to have to go through that shit. And I'm thinking that's the same thing that he did when he was going through. He was like, at these points, it's like, if I made it to this level, I'm going to give my kid a boost. I don't care what anybody has to say about it. If I was LeBron James, I would say, put my son in here. I don't care about you guys.
Man,
We're going to make history, and my son's going to be able to profit off of this and do better. Everybody, when I said Paris Hilton, that is definitely a deal, because he didn't say, I want you to go through and I want you to start making your own money and do for yourself and everything like that. He put her right in that position, and all the way across the board, everyone does that. You know why? Here, we talk about football, right? In Texas. Okay, so if you go to a school that's more affluent, that has money in that school, a lot of those kids, they may be good. You know how many of those kids get drafted or get brought up to college? Very little of them. Why? They're good. Highland Park just killed our team last week. And Miles was like, well, most of those kids don't go to college to play football. Why? Because they're in Highland Park. Their parents are rich. Their dad is putting them through a different path. They're not playing football because they want to make it somewhere. They're playing football because it's fun at the time. The kids at Duncanville are busting their ass because they're like, I can change my life because of this. So when they make it to that level, are they going to sit there and say, I want you to go right back to Duncanville, stay there and bust your ass and sweat and just kill yourself the way that I did it? No, absolutely not. If I have a direction here and a path for you to get into it, I'm going to help you out. Just like the kids in Highland Park. Their parents are saying, oh, I own this big company right now. My son doesn't have to be the CEO, but he is definitely going to have doors open for him, and he's definitely going to have money so that he can be able to invest and get into the right positions, just like I did because of what I did.
Okay, so go ahead. But
Real quick, that's the struggle, though. What you described is exactly the struggle. We are all here to give our kids a better life than what we had, right? That's what we do every day. I know that for a fact.
Yeah.
We give our kids what we didn't have. We work hard for them. However, this is the struggle. The way you described your childhood and you growing up is what made you who you are today.
Sure.
So they don't have that. Can they become great? Like, you're great because of the struggle. Our kids don't have the struggle.
There's no
They're
struggle.
the same. So that's
it's a different
that's
kind
the
of
challenge.
struggle.
Yes, that's the challenge. But I would say the fact that Miles is conscious of,
it's a huge thing.
to me, that's like he's already so mature and,
Sure,
and
yeah.
understanding that, because most kids would not care or they're so spoiled they don't even know.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They just think it's normal.
And what I told him on that, I was like, Miles, the way that it works is you have to use the resources around you to get where you are, and then they're going to go with you. Okay? Yeah. Dad gets on you at the beginning. It's going to bring people too, but you're responsible for keeping them. Okay? So it's like that across the board. I have over 1 million people on my social media. Was that because of me? No, that was because Bobby Lashley went to WWE. When WWE, they were like, oh, okay, now he has this exposure through WWE, and he's a wrestler that we know, so they all came here. Now it's my responsibility to keep them. Okay, so that's the same thing as going with your kids. Now we look at it as, oh, the parents can't do it, but when the teams do it, it's okay. You know, if somebody goes into UFC, they go fight on the UFC right away. Daddy, UFC, had already given them that platform so that they can be able to build a whole bunch of people. They're not doing it on their own. They're doing it because they are UFC. So across the board, you're going to get a boost, whether it's through a company that you're with, or whether it's your parents, or it's going to be from maybe a mentor or something like that. But if you have somebody that's directly there as your father, why would a father not want to give your kid that boost and let him go from there? It's not, I understand the hard work and everything like that, but that's something that I can teach him because that's what I went through. So it's my responsibility to teach him that hard work, not life. Life doesn't have to teach him that. Life had to teach me because I had to bust my ass because I had no other way. But for me, I'm teaching my son that. So that's what we had some talks about before, is teaching our son that hard work and that ethic. If I don't teach him that, then no, I'm not going to give him anything. But if I teach him that and I see him doing that, which I see this kid busting his ass, I'm going to open up doors for him. Because we all know to make it to that level, that upper echelon level in anything, it's either luck or somebody opened that door for you.
Look, it's okay if LeBron wants to open. Let's kind of wrap this portion of the LeBron talk up and move on to the Hunter thing part of it. But
if Josh is ready for Hunter,
the LeBron, because I believe they're completely different scenarios. Obviously,
for sure. But
yes,
no, go on.
But the LeBron situation and Bronny thing. Bronny, did he do everything he needed to do to get to the NBA? Did he have more time to get to the NBA? That was my whole argument is I would agree with you. Look, if I'm the dad and I see my son putting in all the work and I feel like he's right on that threshold, okay, I'm going to open that door. I'll agree with you on that part. But right now, knowing what we know, he wasn't ready. And knowing that he had 2 more years of school left, he wasn't ready. Why not let him collect the NIL money, get better playing with kids that are more on his level, and try to be a standout guy? Who knows what would have happened his senior year?
Okay.
No one. Okay. And who knows if he would have done a 5th year?
Okay. Who knows if that moment would have been there in 2 years?
That's
true.
That's
why they did it, because
that's true.
Braun might not be around in 2 years.
Yeah. And another thing, if we want to look at everything there, he only got the NIL deal because of his dad.
Oh, no. Colleges right now have set aside enough NIL money for every player on their teams now. That's part of the deal.
He's one of the highest NIL players.
I get what you're saying.
Maybe nowhere close to the highest player even on his team.
You understand. I'm glad you understand that portion of it. But I'm saying though is that to say that he wouldn't get NIL money, this is just not true.
He wouldn't get man.
He would get it. USC
on his team, he's like the 6th player. He's not even the top
James Harden
starter.
was a 6th player.
But on a college team, the 6th player is not.
James Harden was a 6th player.
I know, but he's not going to go from 6th player to NBA.
James Harden was the 6th player on the Thunder, and then he went off and led on to be a pretty damn good player. I'm simply saying 2 years in college could have made a huge difference. That's what my take was on the Bronny situation with LeBron. Is hey, give him those 2 years. Let's just forget the NIL money. Just give him the 2 years to make himself better.
Take away LeBron, he would not even be on that team.
That's a what if.
It's not.
Yes.
He is not good enough.
I don't live in the ifs, man.
No, it's not. It's Rich.
If he was good enough, he would still be in the league. He's not. He's in the G League now.
And if he was good enough,
and I'm not saying he's good enough now. That's why I said leave him in college for 2 more years. And let's see if he takes that Kobe Bryant approach.
That wasn't Dad's plan.
But that's my point, man. Is like, don't give your kids these type of situations. Don't give him. You can't give him this.
His whole life.
Don't give it to him.
Every school he's been in.
Give it to him.
So I think we can all agree. Is he good enough to be in the league right now? Does he deserve to be drafted? No.
Why play in the G League when you could have played in college?
Because they wanted the moment. I get it. The moment was beautiful.
It's past
I watched it.
Was it beautiful? Really?
It was. I thought it was so cool,
man.
I thought it was cool.
It was literally like something that I looked at.
Pass the ball to my son.
I watched it. I tuned in early. And I thought, man, how cool would that be?
Did you really?
If I could have a tag match with my son and tag my son into a wrestling match,
how cool would that be?
My whole career would be made right there.
Damn,
if I could look over to the corner and have my son reaching over to my son for a hot tag and tag my son in and him come blazing storms, knocking people over at a wrestling match.
But you
could do my life is golden.
But you could set that up.
Yeah.
You totally could.
Rey Mysterio got to wrestle Dominic Mysterio at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
If that was, you asked Rey what the highest point of his, and he's done everything.
Yeah, but his son,
the highest point of his life.
The difference is his son is good though.
But his son started out that way.
I know, but he's good now. He can hang
now. Yes.
Okay, but here. See, this is where if you're going to use that professionalism, Braun could have used Bronny to come into the Lakers practices. Didn't have to have and hey, can you get some one-on-one with my boy? Can we work on some drills with him?
No,
I'm sorry, friends will do that.
No, but it's a professional. You can't just bring your kid to the practice. It's like dude. This is the NBA.
I understand. I understand the practice. Okay, let me reiterate this, or let me rephrase it. Is it, look, if I called up, I don't even know who the hell's on the Lakers. I don't watch basketball. Okay?
Anthony Davis.
And there you go. Okay, Anthony Davis. And I'm like, hey, man, like he needs to work on getting past guys your size.
He's going to be like, no.
Anthony Davis would be like, home. No, Anthony Davis would be like, I'll give him 30, 40 minutes.
No, hell no.
Are you serious?
Man, those
Are
guys
you
at that level,
serious?
they're just going to spend some extra time because you said, hey, I'm going to bring my son over here and I want you to go run some drills with my son.
Man.
Are you crazy?
I don't think they would, Josh.
Are you guys serious?
That's like you going to Peyton Manning and say, hey, I know practice is over, but my son over here plays wide receiver. Can you throw him some balls?
And he would.
No.
Okay, let me say. Okay, so Brett Favre used to go to his old high school in his town and throw balls to the high school players.
That's different. Yeah. You're asking.
Why is it different?
Personal training.
I'm asking why is it different?
Just because it's my.
Josh.
We're not talking personal training.
It's serious. Look, it's like, okay, if you're training for a world title fight, it's serious stuff. The room is full of guys that are fighting for their families, for their win bonus, for their for their careers, and then you're like, hey,
you're talking. We just had this conversation on weighing in. You play basketball. You don't play fighting. I cannot take. I'm literally getting knocked in the head.
But the thought process is the same. Anthony Davis needs to go. Anthony Davis needs to go ice his knees and do his. Get healthy, and all the other guys got stuff to do.
All right, well then, okay.
Every minute that he has outside of the court is spent some way. It's either I'm spending time with my family, I'm getting treatment,
It's a lot to ask for a professional team to loan you their resources.
Let's talk summertime then. Look, there's opportunities in times where he could have had Bronny working with pro athletes. In whatever, I'm sure that there was times when Jordan used to talk about, hey, we'd get all the guys together and we'd do a 5v5 pickup. When they did was that Jam movie?
Yeah.
Was it called Summer Jam? Space Jam. Okay. I don't watch movies, so it's. But
you don't watch movies.
I don't watch
basketball.
TV. I don't watch basketball. Yeah, if my Chiefs are not playing, I'm not really watching, man. I'm not really.
So
watching.
Hunter Biden, huh?
I mean, but here, the scenario is completely different. One is giving them a step, sure, in a positive and a very good way, in the right direction to try to make their career last. I felt like it was a big failure, only based on the fact because he wasn't ready for it. So all you did really was for your moment. In which I felt like you should explain to your son what that moment was. For us to share the court, odds are you're probably not going to play in the NBA after I leave. That's it. Now that moment's gone. Would you like the opportunity to continue to get better? And I could, obviously the name's still going to get you on an NBA team, I believe. And so he still would have played in the NBA, maybe not with his dad. He could have played against his dad. That would have been more cool to me.
He would have got drafted.
Yes.
But over time, it would have played out the way it's playing.
We don't know because 2 years in college, you just don't know. How many times have we seen kids come in and like this kid was the backup, the third string running back.
2 years would have definitely helped.
And then 2 years, all of a sudden now he's like a star.
But that's kids that kind of gave into it. Man, that dude's been doing it since he's been born. Shooting basketball. So he is peaking he's at peaking where he's at. And right now he's not even in the top of his own team in college. So the probabilities of him making it to the NBA without his dad's name is probably under a single digit.
How many times were you on the wrestling mat or in the wrestling room and you just felt like, man, I'm not getting this, and then one day it clicked? All the time,
yeah.
I'm sorry, but you never know. That's my thing. Is in a 2 year period, you know how much you learn in 2 years.
But I didn't.
No, that's fair. In 2 years, he could have got a lot. And I've heard, because like I said, I followed this. I've listened. It's been a hot topic. It's obviously that time has passed, but when it was happening, everyone was talking about it. Every sports talk show, every sports analyst was talking about it, and people said, "Yeah, look, in 2 years, he could have gotten way better." But that wasn't Dad's plan.
And maybe that's look, that was like I said from the very beginning. It's a conversation between Bronny and his dad. That's what it comes down to.
If Bronny's happy,
and he said he's happy,
said,
let's do it.
Dad, I'm on board with it. That'll be fun. I'm all.
I just think as a dad, that was a little bit more. It was too premature and very selfish to get your needs to play with your son. Maybe the son wanted it too, but did he want it because of the dad wanting it more? That's always been his dream. Whereas for me, I would have pushed my son to be like, hey, you're still going to make a team. But you got to put the work in. I'm going to help you for the next 2 years. We're going to get your ass in check, and we're going to make sure you can actually make a team and maybe not have a long career, but have a 5-8 year long career. That's fucking spectacular. Make your own money. Do your own thing. and create a name for yourself. It may not, maybe it's a smaller name, but who cares? It will be a smaller name. You know what I mean? Like you have the opportunity to create your own name and start doing your own thing.
So be more self-made.
You remember when we talked about the NIL deals before, and you guys were saying that it's harder for high school kids to get NIL deals because they can have the transfer portal and they can start NILing from there. Mm-hmm. So why are they doing that with guys that are in college versus the high school kids?
What do you mean?
Why are they?
Because I've got tape and footage of how you play against college kids at their college level versus taking kids from high school. That's why
I think the G League is not a bad thing for him.
But he's not making what he would have made in the NIL money in the G League.
It's about playing. It's about playing with older athletes that are playing in the NBA that had NBA experience. I'm not saying that's 100% right.
And not all those kids played in the NBA.
I understand this, but what I'm saying is that college and the G League. You think a G League team is better than?
You know what I think is better than the G League?
Do you think G League is better?
You know what I think is better than the G League?
So he's playing. He's getting some pro experience. Yeah. So either way, I mean, it could be, we can't say that it's not a bad thing for him to be playing up there because he could be getting better at a higher level versus being in college. I mean, we don't know. We don't know which one's going to make him better. But as far as that moment that he had,
let me tell you which one's going to make him better. Which one do you think, when they're playing G League and in college, which one do you think he's going to play more on in games? He ain't going to play more on the G League.
He was playing a lot.
Okay, let's get how much of the handling of the ball and playing, actual real playing and being. Look, the one thing I would say, my son, right? Because we did the whole. I held him back this last year. He's in 4th grade. Okay, he's playing on a team where he should have been playing on because all these kids in Texas are older. So he's now playing on a team. He has the ball in his stick a lot more now versus the 18 to 22 minutes he was playing when he was playing up. Now he's on a team where he's playing with kids his age that. Now he's not, I wouldn't say he's a star, but he's one of the top, 3 to 4 players on the team. He's got the ball in his stick more now and controlling where everything goes because he's that player now. If I'd have left him there, he would have only been playing 18 to 22 minutes and not getting better. He is so much better now. Confidence level, everything. The communication with his team that he has now, because they all think on the same level, it's leaps and bounds. Bronny being in college, having the ball in his hands, being the coordinator of the offense, and in 2 years, I'm saying this year and next year, whatever, having that opportunity, I think he would have gotten a lot better in that process than playing on the G League, where everybody is probably a little bit better than him. And sure, you have it's accessible, but you're not actually the one commanding the offense. You're not the one that's distributing the ball. That's what his job is.
Okay, I think there's two sides to this also because. Until you get to that next level,
there's the wrong side and the right side. That's two sides.
Until you get to that level, you don't know that level. Like when I wrestled in high school, when I was in Kansas and I was wrestling, I felt dominant. When I went to the first international or national tournament, I was like, holy cow, these guys are really good. So if you stay in college, you're going to be playing against college guys. So you're not going to know what it's like to play in the NBA. Because it's different. I talked to some guys before when I was doing my strength and conditioning, and some of those guys played in NFL. Dak was there. All these different guys were there, and they were like, he was a star coming out, and he played for Dallas when he came. Star coming out of college. He was like, I didn't realize what it was like to play in the pros until I got there. Yeah. He said Aaron Donald picked me up on my shoulder pads and threw me like I was a little kid. So there's a huge difference in different levels. That's what I'm saying. With Bronny, you can play in college. It's not going to feel like the pros. It's not going to be like the pros. It's nothing like it. So the fact that he goes up to the G League, he gets some of that pro feel because all these guys are stars. That's what they talk about all the time. When they get like a super college team in football or something like that, they're like, oh man, they could probably beat the Browns. They could probably beat the Cincinnati. You're like, no, they can't because those guys are all college. Only 2 or 3 of them are going to make it to pros. Everybody in the pros is in the pros. So they're all the stars from their team. There's levels. So there's a big level that he could be getting a lot of work in and getting a lot better if he gets up there. Even if he's in the G League, he's still playing with all the stars from college, plus some guys that are playing the NBA. He will get some time in there, and that time is going to be profitable. I think that, and like we said, everything's an if. I think being in that pro league for 2 years is more beneficial than him being in the college league for 2 years.
The G League, what it can do though, is it can deter you from being to you getting your potential, because he could just be getting beaten down by guys that are in the G League and be like, look, maybe I'll never be pro and be done.
You know, it also makes me think about, obviously he doesn't have any like needs. He'll never worry about money. But and I think you know where I'm getting at here, but how do you feel? How does that feel? Like, I feel sorry for him. I feel sorry for, in some ways, because you have a lot of your peers don't respect you, right? You'll never have the respect of a lot of these guys. They'll like you because of who your dad is, but you know what I mean? He'll never have to worry about a lot of things, but how does that make you feel, right? Because there's some things you can't buy, and you can't buy, or, you know, certain things, but that respect of other ballers.
Shador's going to get in on his own. Shiloh's going to get in on his own. Travis Hunter's going to get in on his own. Like, these kids, they put their work in. They lived out their career. Like,
not like people.
Football's a little bit harder.
People's going to look at him and go like,
football's harder to get in based on, because he wouldn't have just said, okay, I was a running back, so I want my son to be a running back, and have him go out there. He can get creamed, hurt, bad.
Sure.
But basketball, they can just toss him the ball and it presents a moment. So it's a different.
No, you're right. Just like it's different than wrestling. But I'm just saying, like, when you look at someone, like, come on, we all know people that are wealthy and have set their kids up for stuff. And you look at those kids and you're like, I probably shouldn't be there. Not doing a good job, but you know, and you kind of look at them and you're like, it's hard. It's tough to be in that situation. Sometimes it's a blessing, and I think sometimes it's a curse, because you may never get the respect ever, right? There will always be someone that is self-made that looks at you and says, you have more than me, but you never earned that. And, you know, you're a, what do they call it? A Nepo baby, right?
When I first went to WWE, when I went to developmental, I came from the Olympic Training Center where Kurt found me, and I went straight to OVW. And when I went there, I felt that also, because some of the guys in there, they were like, well, I've been doing the indies and I've been traveling around all these shows, wrestling for nothing, wrestling for $50 and going across the country. And they gave me all these stories, and they were so resentful of me. And I was like, bro, but I wrestled, and this is still wrestling. And I did pay dues, just in a different way than you. So I was like, all right.
I was just looking at him like, bro, do you have a smile like this, and do you look like this? I mean, that's really what it comes down to.
Bobby, you made it though. Yeah. That's why now they're like, hey, respect.
Yeah, I took what I was given in those positions, and I still worked my ass off for it.
Okay, but now let's go on to the next part.
Okay.
Joe Biden, Hunter Biden. No. I'm simply saying, like, the way that I approached the LeBron and Bronny thing, I'm taking the opposite approach. I literally would do the same thing. I would have pardoned my son. And the reason why,
wow.
Yes, you weren't expecting that. You weren't expecting that, huh?
See,
I gotta hear this one.
Well, let me ask you this: if you know you're about to die, probably in like 5 to 6 years, and you only have this amount of time to spend with your kid, what are you doing?
I'm partying.
Yeah, there you go.
That's it. I'm sorry. I wasn't. I'm having my son out any way he can.
LeBron ain't dying, bro. Okay,
it doesn't matter.
Joe Biden's gonna be gone in a little bit.
We love your kids are your kids. I think here's something to think about as well. It's like, man, crackhead, whatever, this, that, man, that's your kid. You know, that's your son.
I've got friends that live in Santa Cruz that are still looking for their kids on a weekly basis because they're addicted to meth and whatever it is.
You're always gonna love your kid, man.
They're out there searching for them, and they find them, and they try to bring them home, and the kid fights them tooth and nail. They bring them home, they feed them, and then basically the kid just sneaks out of the house in the middle of the night and goes back to where he was. It's sad, man. It's sad because two of them are really, really close, and I am not mentioning names, but like two of them really close with me and helped me a lot in my career, and their kids are struggling with drug addiction. One lives in Santa Cruz and one is in San Francisco area. And it's rough. I understand that portion of it. I understand, like, you do whatever you can. You always go looking for them. You always want to be there for them. You always feel like there's a way to help them. In this situation,
don't worry. Hunter ain't struggling, bro.
No, he ain't struggling. We understand that. We understand that. Let's not mistake. Like, obviously, we know whose cocaine it was in the library or whatever it was, right? Like, come on. You mean to tell me in this house where there's so many damn cameras, we don't know who put it there? Come on.
You know what's really interesting as you look, because again, this is I'm looking at it as the president of the United States, or I'm looking at it as a dad, and there's a lot of people that are actually understanding. They get it. They're like, yeah, I mean, what's he supposed to do? You know, he's being a dad.
Well,
I thought this was a point of you have to let him deal with what he has to deal with on his own. I thought that's the stance that you were have. That you.
Oh no.
But it is different than
because I'm dying. I'm literally 80-something years old.
Again. I thought we're not supposed to be selfish when it comes to our kids.
So I thought love was selfish.
I'm okay with it.
But look, I'm not giving my kid in sport. I'm not giving him a hand up so he can make money. I'm getting him out of jail so I can spend my last couple of years with him.
But the reason why is because you gave him the position to make money. That's what all this is stemming from.
I get what you're saying. It wasn't because there was a lot of other issues too. that he just he threw a blanket pardon over so he didn't get convicted of those later on down the line.
But let's be real.
Yeah, what's it cover, like 10 years?
It covers 11 years.
11 years.
11 years.
Yeah.
His pardon covers 11 years. Back when he first signed with Burisma. So that should explain everything that he did with Burisma was already illegal. So anyways, my point is when you're 82, 80, whatever, 4, whatever, how old Joe Biden is, you know you're dying soon. And and when people are on their deathbed, what's the number one thing they say?
Family.
They say family.
More time with family.
More time with families. If I could have everything, I'd sell my houses. I'd get rid of all the cars. I didn't need that shit. What would I want to do more? Spend more time with family. That dude's been in politics for 50 years. He spent no time probably with his family. Spent all his time hustling money and doing.
I think him and Hunter spent a lot of time together.
Yeah. No, I don't think they spent time together. I think they spent a lot of time on the phone, doing deals, trying to get deals done. But my point is that last 5, 6, however many years you have left, I think that's really what it came down to. If you notice, he sped up his court case by pleading guilty, so he can get sentenced before, so his dad could pardon him. It was all writing was on the wall. He asked, and they were like, "Oh no, he's not going to plead guilty. No, he pled guilty as fast as he could, so they could get the sentencing, and his dad could pardon him as soon as possible." I mean, it was pretty easy to see from the beginning.
Yeah.
And as a dad and someone, I'm not that old, but the writing's on the wall. Yeah, you're doing.
So if he was say 70, and he did the part in the same way,
still could die next week. Like you see him when he was 70 something.
LeBron could die tomorrow.
Yeah. But Joe Biden. If he was 74,
because I backed it up to 70, so you would still do it. So in a case with LeBron could die tomorrow. So why not?
Well, how long did Hunter get? Do we know? Did he get like 10 years?
No, they just don't know what they're going to charge him for.
Yeah.
What did they charge him for?
They already got him, right? He got sentenced and they pardoned him. So I think he got sentenced. I believe he pleaded guilty, so he's already been convicted guilty. They were going to do the sentencing, so now he pardoned him, but he would have got probably close to 10 or 12 years, supposedly.
I thought it was a lot more.
Even if he did, he's still pardoned now. But so look, if I was 72 and he got 15 years, I could be, I definitely could die by then. Joe's got another.
What if he had 3 years?
What's Joe got left? 2 or 3?
Yeah, but okay, very valid point.
That's my only point.
But
I'm not saying what he did was right.
Yeah, exactly.
Only
Because
the fact that you lied to the whole world that you weren't going to pardon him is another topic.
But there's also right and wrong. Like if you know, and heaven forbid we ever have to deal with this. But if your kids, let's not forget, we have girls too, like just your kids, period. If you know they did something wrong, broke the law, are set to be punished, like do you bail them out? It's tricky because I think it depends. There's so many different levels to this, right? Like, well, what did they do? But that's, to me, that's overall kind of the thought process too, is do you bail your kids out when they've done something wrong? There's levels to what's wrong, right? Yeah. There's killing somebody, and then there's, ripping someone off. There's all these different things, right? But it's, what do you do? Do you let your kid learn? Or do you use your influence if you had some to get him out of the situation.
It really depends on the situation. Like if my son or my daughter gets a DUI, I'm not trying to get him out of it. No, you're going to lose your license for a year, and just God willing, or God forbid that you had hurt somebody in that process, because you're going to pay the consequences. I had a family member who, she got into a car accident. She ended up killing somebody when she was drunk. The other person was drunk as well, but it doesn't matter. That person was gone now. That family lost somebody, and she spent, I want to say, 7 years or 8 years in jail. Came out, and it was like she's a completely different person. So, but that I'm gonna have, if my son gets a DUI, my son gets speeding tickets, and if I was a local law enforcement or I had connections with I'm not trying to call them and get them off. No, man, you got to learn your lesson. But I'm looking at the Joe Biden thing, and I'm definitely not a fan of Joe Biden. But my simple thing is you literally are about to die, and you only have a certain amount of time left with your family and your son. I don't give a shit who you are. You got to have a heart for that, And
you're being a parent.
You can go visit him in jail. I mean, it's not like he's going to spend any more time with him.
They're not hanging out right now, are they? You think
he's not. He's on the phone.
You never know, man. You never know.
I think in jail that he's probably going to be. He probably has like FaceTime and.
What do you think that conversation was like? Like, hey, thanks, Dad.
Yeah. He's like,
hey, Dad.
I think a little handshake.
I love you, Dad.
I'll send you a little money.
Sorry, I put this on you. My bad, Dad. But thank you.
No,
Dad.
But are you calling and getting your kid off if he has a DUI or if he gets a ticket or, I'm not doing that.
If it's a one-time thing, I'm going to try to do what I can to help my son. In certain situations, you just can't help him, and that's what I got to tell him, and that's what I tell him. I'm like, certain situations, I just don't even have a leg in on this. But in some situations, I'm going to help you with the best of my ability. But it does come to those points where, and I have a couple friends, and that ran into the situation.
They're right here.
It's a lot.
They're right here.
No, it's
you said a couple of friends, and they're right here.
It's a lot of single parent families that. And I don't want to say moms, but it seems like moms nurture a little bit more, because in this situation, the mom nurtures a little more. Their kid just kept getting in trouble, and they were just in constant denial of their kid. And people do that all the time. It's like, no, my kid didn't do it, and it's like all the evidence is against them. And I'm like, nope, I didn't see anything, because I ran into a case like this before, and I was like, they caught him on tape doing this, and his mom was like, I can't really even see. And I'm like, what? You can see this completely. It's clear as day. Now, when you run into a problem like that, then yes, your kid has to learn, because you know that it's a problem. If it's a DUI or something like that, he's going to have to pay the consequences. That's just how it is, period. There's nothing you can do around that.
And right there, we're going to leave it at that. We've learned, because I'm going to carry this topic into the next show coming up. But we understand that Bobby's just going to work his kid into every single thing he possibly can. It's going to get him out of trouble. It's going to free him from prison. It's going to do all those things because Bobby could do that.
No,
Rich and
Josh is not going to help his kids at all unless it's going to jail. He'll get him out, but he's not going to help him out at all whatsoever. So not going to introduce him to anybody that he knows to be able to get him into school. Not going to be able to put him into these different programs that's going to help him be better at his sports, because his son needs to find a way on his own.
Bobby found his way. I found my way. Rich found his way.
I think we just need to know when they need the boost and when they don't. And that's the hard part. Yep. I don't think you can look at this again, one size fits all, magic wand solution for it all. No, you're gonna know, like, hey, this is harmless. This is not gonna hold them back or teach them, because the moment they realize, oh, Dad has money, Mom and Dad have money, oh,
I'm untouchable,
Dad bails me out all the time, then you're screwed. Then you're in trouble. But the moment that they understand, yeah, my dad has money or my family has some stuff, but I kind of got to go out and get my own, then I think, you're in a much better place. But time and place for everything, right? Hey.
It's across the board. Arch Manning is not even the starting quarterback for Texas and has the highest NIL deal out there.
Just like Bronny did.
All right, guys. Hey, leave the comment down below. Joe Biden or Bronny James? Which one are you taking? Joe Biden or Bronny James? Are you taking the Bobby approach?
I'm taking Bronny.
You're taking the Josh Thomson approach. Rich is kind of always like Switzerland. He's neutral. So he's in the middle. He's trying to be both sides. I get it. But look, the bottom line is, we don't have the answers for everything, and you guys obviously know that, but we're just bouncing things off of each other, and we use this as like our forum to communicate with you guys. And I'm sure you guys are sitting here wondering, would I do this? Would I not do this? How can I do this? And what would be the ways to do it without the feedback or without getting backlash from whether your wife or your family or people in general. So look, we bounce these off of each other. Leave the comments down below. Let us know what your thoughts are. Thank you for joining us.